speak moron as well as you, but let me try.
What the hell is supposed to do, you moron?
It's a moron. That's not against the law.
Gun! You fucking moron!
Stuff like Batman.
Because he is Batman, you moron.
What are you, a fucking moron?
You moron. Drop dead. Moron.
Whoa!
Up here, you morons.
Stepping morons like yourself.
Me down, you moron! Hey, moron!
When you were younger and probably liked. So the same way that you liked Butterfly Effect when you were younger, I loved Blade. Like, I was the right age for this. Like, I was 13 when this came out, and I thought it was fucking cool as fuck. So I've not seen it for over a decade, and it was very interesting to watch it again. Who was it a first time watch? But
Me.
you seen it, Sean?
Years and years and years ago.
I had also seen it again of being of similar age because I remember the song that the DJs played at the start when they were in that nightclub scene. I remember it was like Public Domain or something that was like called Operation Blade. It used to be. It was like a proper dance tune where I used to go up to the unders up at Enigma/Dusk.
The unders. Oh, man, that's funny.
Getting chased out by Thanks for the Rap Tap.
See, the music at the start is really iconic. One of the things I found really funny watching this was it's in a nightclub. There's really loud music everywhere. Right? Everyone's shouting. He comes in. I went and hold there because my mom tried to pull me. That's funny. So, the music goes off when Blade appears to try and kill the cunt. But once the fighting starts, new music comes, but it's not coming for the DJ anymore. Now it's like fake background music just for us. It was just stupid. It just started to annoy me right for the very fucking start. So you can tell how I'm feeling about this. So Bunzi, as a first-time viewer, you can go first.
Oh, thanks. I think I might be the outlier here, but again, I think it's just because I said this the last time we watched a kind of Marvel film, but I think I've watched too many over a recent period that it's just all becoming a bit samey for me, and they're just not my bag. Like it was decent enough, but these films just don't do it for me. Maybe if there's a big break between them, but I know that's probably unlikely because of the likes of the people that I'm friends with on this. So I just thought it was like it seemed quite predictable as well, like where it was going to go. Like the addition of the female doctor added another layer to it, but you just knew it was going to be just Blade and the vampires basically for 2 hours straight. That's all the film was about. Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to say something, Daniel, instead of sneezing.
Couldn't have mutant time.
So because of that reason, like it was the film itself was okay, and like it was the fight scenes were reasonably done, and there wasn't anything that I was like, this is garbage about. It was more just I just felt myself sort of losing interest as it went on as well. I think I like a film that's more, it's got loads of background, loads of storyline, instead of it just being more a impactful sort of fight scene and chase, like a chase scene, a chase film, if you like, in terms of that. Obviously I've said before, I think Sean's the same, like the amount of blood that's in the film, that doesn't do it for me as well. So that was one of my only things that I sort of thought, nah, this isn't for me. And there's not really much to take from the film, I didn't think, though.
See, on the blood, right? I realised this time this was like the fakest blood that's ever been in any fucking film. Like this CGI blood. Whoever thought CGI blood would be better than fake blood? Like,
yeah.
It actually angered me watching the special effects in this.
Oh, they were so outdated, it was unreal.
But I mean, there's films that we watched that were made 20, 30 years before this that look better than this. Like, there's no excuse for how bad it looks.
Because I'd thought the same. Like I wasn't sure, like because you have watched sort of films like this around that time period. I thought maybe it might have just been me, but it did seem as if it was. You could have argued that it felt older than just before 2000s, the way it was, some of the scenes that were included in it.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's definitely not aged well. Like I say that, because I've always liked Marvel stuff and comic books. When this came out, I thought it was cool as fuck. I was the right age for it. I was also a big Wesley Snipes fan because, as you know, White Men Can't Jump is one of my favourite movies. I also thought he was really cool in Demolition Man. I just thought he was a cool cunt. So I just thought this was a great movie when I was younger. But looking back and watching it this time, you're not going to be an outlier, I don't think, Burnsy. It is shit. It's a shit film. I did not expect to be coming on to say this. I expected to be coming on and have like a wee bit of nostalgia about it and going, oh, it's maybe not as good as the new ones, but it's got like its charm. It didn't have any charm. I just thought it was shit.
I was expecting used to have sort of, I just say nostalgia about it. Because I think the other one I wrote is like, other comment I wrote was like, I'm kind of glad that we're doing, well, based on what you're commenting, if they follow suit, obviously this wouldn't be happening, but when we did previous films and sometimes about, oh, we'll watch the sequel and all that kind of stuff, I'd be like, I was thinking myself, I'm glad that we only have that option because we'll have to wait until the full alphabet goes round to come back to it again.
Well,
but it sounds like we wouldn't fully do that anyway, based on what you were saying.
But I would say there's a remake coming out in the new Marvel Cinematic Universe. So we could go on a cinema trip for the new Blade.
I'm going for dinner that night or something.
Me and Sean are going at the dinner.
Right.
You and Hunter can go.
I completely agree with you, Daniel. This is one that I thought that I remembered kind of favourably, but I thought it was utter shit, which is disappointing because I just always remember liking this. I don't know if I remember liking Blade 2 more because that came out when I was a bit older.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm a couple of years younger than you, but this was a fucking hard. This took me 4 attempts to get through it all. Like, it's so bad, man. I used to like vampire stuff. Like, I used to watch Buffy and Angel and all that, and as I said, I used to watch Blade. I remember watching Blade 2 all the time, and this was just, I thought, oh, I love this, but it was fucking shit. I thought the fight scenes were absolutely terrible. It's mostly just them doing spinning kicks to the air a good distance for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not a fight scene. That's just them doing spinning wheel kicks in the air, like, and then doing all these martial art moves, like, without actually hitting another person, like, just over the top crap. And
do you know, before you move on for the fight scenes, like, do you know one thing that really took me out of it, and the first like minute of the action? So right up until she took that guy into the club and before Blade showed up, I was still thinking, I'm going to like this. But the music was playing that. I'm like, this is going to be good. And then the first vampire that kills, he turns into like horrific looking CGI dust.
Mm-hmm.
And then I hated that. And then I realised that happened another 150 times. And it's not as... See, if you stab somebody and they fall down dead, that's quite impactful to see on a screen. But if you stab them and they turn to dust, it's shit. It takes away all of it. And the really annoying thing about the fight scenes was it was almost like a computer game that there's like the boss baddie. So it was always guy was always going to survive. He would leave him alive. But he would kill every cunt else. And the one guy would, he's chopped his hand off, or he's managed to find a way away. Just really annoyed me. Sorry for interrupting, John.
Nah, it's fine. It's pretty much I share the exact same feeling. That I was just on the it was towards the end of the film where I can't even remember what the boy looked like, but it was a vampire and he shot something against his head and his head just started blowing up, and then it went up. That just looked absolutely ridiculous. Like, it went off pink and red and like a balloon getting bigger, and then it just burst. It just, the CGI was absolutely terrible. Normally, as kind of Bonzi said, I'm like, the older I've got, like, when I see blood, like, my legs go like numb. I don't know why, right? But the older I've got, my legs go numb and I get all like...
It's just old age, Sean.
Aye. But like, obviously there was a lot of blood in this, but it just looked that fake that I didn't get that feeling watching this. Like, see when he was in the... I don't even know the name of it, but they were trying to take his blood and he was in the thing. At the end, I don't know what it's fucking called, right? But so you can see the blood trickling down his finger. Like, normally I would be like, wincing and turning away. But I was just watching it, just like, this is like, just how long's this got left? Like, can I just fucking stop this now? I just absolutely hated every minute of this. Such a hard week for this man. Who picked this?
No. Hunt. Kyle.
Was it Kyle?
Right. I want Kyle to retract his statement from last episode about me not being able to pick films again.
Aye. If
Not
Hunter's
too
not
fair,
getting
You definitely pick far better films than what Kyle does. There's no question about
Oh,
that.
there's
I'm not just saying that because you're here, Hunter, but some of the guff that he knows he picks his shite. He knows he picks his shite as films too.
I'm gonna be on the fence here because if you look at the bottom now, Hunter's picked Fear and Loathing, Two Crimes, and Butterfly Effect,
And also the one that we've not to put up that we've watched and that only reviewed by text, which was the Capone.
Capone, yes, aye. Aye, some stinkers. But aye, carry on, Sean.
No, that's it. I just absolutely hated this. As I said, like, it should never take you multiple attempts to get through a film, and it was just down to pure, just lack of enjoyment and boredom.
It was hard, man. Like, see the bit. Aye, it was fucking hard going. I found it hard going, and I'm usually fine with all the films. And just that phone, mate. See the bit at the end you were talking about, where like it needlessly does a flying kick instead of throwing this thing at him to stick him in his head. He does a fucking flying kick and kicks it at him. That stuff like that really annoys. But then see that big fucking CGI blob it turned into. At that point, I was astonished that even my young self ever took this in any way seriously. It's so bad. And the bit that made me the most uncomfortable was, see when the doctor lets him out of the weird thing that he's in that takes his blood, which strangely is the only thing in the whole place that's not guarded. Surely you would guard the old... Anyway. The doctor gets him out and then she's like, oh, take my blood. And it goes on for like so uncomfortably long.
I know, it's at the point where it's like, is he still sucking her blood, or is there some sort of sexual kick going on because it's kind of dragging on a bit?
That's what I thought there was. I thought there was some sort of. I didn't think he was actually taking any blood. I thought he was just wanting to get his lips on her neck towards the end.
Just get a big massive hickey.
It was weird. Like, and I feel like the director's purposely done that. Like, it's meant to have been uncomfortable in that. Like, it was so out of the tone of everything else that was going on. It just felt uncomfortably long. And she says, stop it. And then it keeps going for like ages after that. Weird, man. And then he just dumps her fucking lifeless body. But later on, she just gets up and she's fine. She just lost about fucking 5 pints of blood.
But was she not up and fighting after that? She was just up and walking about. She was fighting.
Oh my God, man. Oh, there's so many bad things about this. One thing that is good is Chris Christopherson. I think he's fucking great in this. The old guy.
Aye. Just going back to, did I miss something in terms of how this doctor becomes this like great fighter at some point?
No, it was never addressed.
Never, no.
Because I was thinking like, at first I was like, is that, no, it's the same woman. I was like, right, okay, she was a doctor and now she's just like going about shooting folk. And I'm not saying she's like a great fighter, but she's far better than you just expect some randomer who's been a doctor all her life and not got any background, and then it's basically helping Blade just destroy everything. That just seemed out of nowhere too.
Aye, none of it makes sense. None of it's thought out. It just seems like these Marvel movies that are done before the MCU, the big clusterfuck of shit. A lot of people pretend that they're good because of, like, they remember them from when they were kids. Like, they were the first comic book movies, but they're all bad, and this one's a great example of how shit it is. But people will still say this. I bet this gets quite a good rating on IMDb and stuff like that. I bet people still think it's good.
Because they probably haven't watched it in fucking 12 years.
Aye, exactly.
That's it.
It's 7.1 out of 10 on IMDb.
How much?
7.1.
Wow, that is higher than I thought.
What was it?
Yeah, maybe maybe we are totally off the pulse, but I doubt it. What did you think, Hunter?
Just pretty much would be repeating what you have said again. It's one of those. Your younger self can play a lot of havoc on your novels, convincing yourself. Because even before we watched this, if someone had said, "Oh," I'd have said, I'd enjoyed it. It's a good film. Time is such a great thing to go back on, and it makes how we evolve as people over time. Obviously, how even films and everything has evolved over time. There is one thing about this that does have some sort of redeeming quality for me, is it at least makes vampires kind of dark and edgy and scary before they turned into big Ponzi's and the fucking Twilight and all that carry on, and Vampire Diaries. There's no vampires were for teen dramas, essentially. This was like maybe the last age of vampires being scary characters to an extent.
Before you move on, you've just reminded me of something that I forgot to address earlier on. Sean, you said you were like into vampires like Buffy and Angel. This is an unknown layer of your personality. I forgot to bring it up earlier on. What the fuck?
Right, you've misquoted me. I never said I was right into it. I said I was into the programs. I wasn't into vampires, but like I'd watched plenty of things with vampires in them. Obviously, I've not watched a vampire program in many, many years because I'm an adult now, and it's ridiculous. But I used to love Buffy the Vampire Slayer when I was a younger guy, which obviously led me on to Angel because they're basically the same fucking program. I used to love it. That's actually probably the first like proper like series that I watched. Like I remember watching it Sky One every week. Loved it.
I watched it as well at the same time actually. What do you prefer, Angel or Buffy?
I've not watched either of them in fucking so long. I'll always remember preferring Buffy because that's what I watched first. But I think Angel was probably a bit better. I think I can remember coming across an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer on like fucking Sci-Fi Channel or whatever a couple of years ago, and I watched like 50 minutes of it and I was like, fucking hell, this is absolutely terrible. Like just everything about it was terrible. The acting, it was just really poor. But I think a lot of TV, bar obviously like an obvious kind of couple of programs back at that time, was kind of relatively bang average or poor. There wasn't really many that I can recall great TV series in terms of like, you had obviously like The Sopranos, people talk about The Wire, I've never seen The Wire, stuff like that, but there was a lot of mishmash of shit back then as well. Like,
I mean, I think when we look back over the history of TV and films and stuff, so I'm like, 2000 to 2010 is probably going to be the worst time. Like, them was shit.
You had Sopranos, The Wire, Breaking Bad starting out, and amongst that. So, but we looked at it, that is such a small percentile of what was actually made during that time.
Aye, exactly. There was a few standouts, but in general, I don't know. I think quality stuff's got better now, and it seemed to also be better before. Like stuff was better. See, when you see some older movie, like some of the older movies we've watched are fucking a million miles better than these fucking. I bet this had a massive, like hundreds of million quid budget with all that horrific CGI, and we watched some really fucking cheaply made films that are much better than this. What are we talking about there?
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Vampires.
Sean's extra layer of being a vampire nut.
I was right in it.
I can imagine you being like an Did you wear eyeliner and that and sit and watch on this?
No. But I just always remember there's been one of the first programs that were obviously would have been like 1999. The first that I watched it, so I was like 11. So like I was like totally like, oh wow, this is so amazing and all that, because like it was a bit I was maybe a bit too young for it at the time, but just like your first and many things in life, you always remember your first, guys. That was my first TV series that I watched, so I always remember it.
So I liked the movie when I was younger, Interview with the Vampire, and that led me on. I read like all the books like about that went there, so that was a bit weird. I was into all that vampire shit. Read all the books. They're all fucking shit now when you look back at them as well. So
It's shit. I would imagine that if they're kind of revamping the Blade stuff, they'll probably do a good job at it and it'll be successful and all that. But I'm not going to rush to go and see it. Like, I just think that it's kind of, you don't really see that many vampire stuff now for a reason. It's kind of had its time. It is very 90s in that. Like, there's not very many people going out making vampire films nowadays, is there?
no,
It's just no.
that Morbius proves the point as well. That was fucking panned by everybody. And there's no, like, it was very cool when it was the Lost Boys. Do you know what I mean? Because there was something about it. But I think, like you say, it's had its time. And like Morbius shows, I've got a bad feeling that Blade's going to. It's difficult to make vampires cool, man.
Nowadays it is, aye.
Aye,
I can imagine like in the 90s, because like that, well, obviously watching Blade, where you like, as you talked about the bit when he was in the club at the start, it's always the same song that I associate that kind of music with vampires, like that, because it's the same. It was in, like, as we've just always been talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I remember it, like that kind of music being in that, and I don't know why they use that, but it just, as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh no, that just doesn't. That just seems very dated. It just felt dated the whole way through. I don't know. I just really didn't like it.
Do you know one thing doing this podcast has done for me? It's destroyed a lot of my memories and made me not touch my things a lot more. This is the one that I would have given a high score before watching, but now after watching, we might get a lot of abuse for these two scores online.
Who cares?
Who gives a fuck, eh?
And I bet you, like you said, there'll be people that haven't actually watched the film in that long, but they'll just be like, oh, that was class. And but when did you watch it? I watched it when I was 15.
It's just be fucking week offs that'll come for us. It's not bothering me.
Depends what time of day. If you post it during the day, maybe they'll see because I'll be sleeping anyway. So
I'll be hanging upside down in their bedroom, sleeping to the ceiling.
I'm not scared that goth, man, will be sound.
Gimps.
I'm not scared of goths. That could be a name for the podcast.
I did just have that same thought too.
Kyle's put a lot of effort into this, fuck's sake.
I bet you he loves this.
Oh my god. Like, so I purposely didn't look at these before we came on. So, the first line, I fucking love Blade.
Oh
my god.
So, I want to make a bet. Do you think he's actually rewatched it, or he's scored just based off his memories?
There's no way he's rewatched this if he's saying that he loves it.
Did he not say something about he'd watched it? He went and watched it. Like, see when we had a list of the 10 movies. Did he know? Like, I'm sure he said like, he went and watched it like ridiculously early before it was even decided what week we were going to be doing it.
I think so. Or either that, or he'd already watched it himself, and it wasn't even on the options. One of the two, though.
So, I fucking love Blade. I was obsessed with this as a youth, similar to us. Wesley Snipes is cool as fuck. I do agree. I enjoy the fighting in this. What the fuck? And how cold. What? I enjoy the fighting in this and how cold. And he's put in brackets vampire pun. Did you catch that?
Oh, he's a gimp. He is a loser. He's kept with vampire puns.
How was that ever going to go? That was bad. I didn't know for a very long time that Blade was part of the Marvel Universe. And I'm a bit gutted that it's not the old Wesley Snipes Blade that's going to be in the next one. Come on, what is he? 50? It must be in his 50s by now.
Aye.
But that shit happens when you don't pay your taxes. Which is
He's
true.
He's 60, Daniel. He's 60. Kale's wanting him in the next film.
Fucking hell, man. Question for the lads. Tell me another movie that Stephen Dorff is in. Good point, because
is that the boy who plays that? Whatever is the Damien or whatever the boy's Dominic or whatever the boy's name is.
He's the main baddie that turns into the big.
Oh, I had this discussion with Laura the other day because she told me that she used to love this film as a Wayne because she loved Stephen Dorff.
So I think Stephen Dorff was like a sort of teen icon, and this was meant to be like his breakout.
Yes, and we'd actually discussed literally the other day what the other thing he was in.
Oh, that's annoying.
Is it one of the teen things, like a Clueless type thing or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. But what the thing I remember him from is this movie and being in an episode of Punk'd, with Ashton Kutcher from last week.
Oh,
And Stephen Dorff got punked. Remember the show Punked? How shit was that?
aye.
Aye. Pimp My Ride as well. Just
Aye,
a mishmash of MTV crap.
See, on the Pimp My Ride, did that? Remember, obviously they done a UK one with Tim Westwood. Did he not get done for
Jesus.
dancing?
Oh, did he get done for being a nonce?
I'm sure something like that.
Let's make sure we check that out before we sully.
Before we start saying
Yeah.
Tim Westwood is a nonsense, the podcast.
Before you
name.
put it as, aye, I was going to say before you put it as that.
I mean, folk are going to have to Google who Tim Westwood is. You've got to be of a certain age to
Oh, aye.
British to know who Tim Westwood is. Fucking bellend. Where are we? Weirdly, I watched a UFC movie called Embattled the other day that he's in. It's not weird to me that he would watch a random UFC movie called
No,
Embattled.
not at all.
No.
He was probably crying and having a wank when he watched that.
A wee crank.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He said it's shite not to watch it. He said Blade's class. He could watch it another 10 times and still get the same enjoyment. What the fuck?
Nah, he's not
No,
watched
no.
it recently. There's no way.
The second one is good as well. The third one's a bit touch and go.
This third one must be the worst film I've ever seen. If he's telling me that this is class.
So he mentions the Triple H's in the third one. The third one is one of the, if you think this is bad, the third one is one of the worst fucking movies ever. Because even at the time, I knew it was shit. Triple H is a fucking big, giant, jacked up vampire in it.
Oh, I forgot he was on that.
And a young Ryan Reynolds is in it as well. So it's
Oh,
actually
yes, I have seen it before, aye.
I can't remember the second one at all, but I remember the third one being horrific. He says Deadpool can't even save you when you're in a Triple H movie. Not exactly an Oscar movie. I'm sure you morons will pick holes with the storyline and shit in it, but I enjoyed it.
We'll pick holes in it.
It'd be
We
hard
like
if
we're
I-
going to try to pick the quality bits and try to pick holes.
Yeah. I mean, let's try and have a bit of balance. I've got your score there. I won't say it yet, but a bit of balance, right? It doesn't try and take itself too seriously. I do quite like some of these one-liners, and I do think Wesley Snipes looks like a fucking badass, and he's just hampered by because he's taking things really seriously as he's doing it, right? But you can tell he must be acting against imaginary nothingness, right? Because all these things are just disappearing and all that.
Yeah.
And like all the CGI monsters and blood and all this shit. So when you see him being so serious and everything looking so cartoonish and shit, it's such a weird contrast. I feel sorry for him when I watch it more than anything. And I do think it got better in the second one, and then the third one was a fucking car crash.
I also think it suffered as of the time when this was made. I mean, if this was part of if this had never been made, then now it was like this Blade version of Blade that's coming into the MCU was the first version of Blade, and I think we would get a much more polished product. Just everything as was touched on with the CGI and whatever. Like, I mean, when I watched it, I'm kind of that's going through my head. I'm like, obviously we've done sort of Terminator and stuff like that, and I think obviously some of the parts of that are dated, but they were such ahead of the time. Whereas even when this was the time that this came out, it felt. I'd imagine if they go back and watch a few films from about the same time, that if you have to compare this against others, it would look dated against films from the same era.
Definitely. The blood looked like fucking playing Duke Nukem on the PS1.
Oh.
It was fucking horrific, man. But a good point you made is that this is what people wanted at the time. This is a type of there was loads of movies like that. Every movie is like this. It's weird. It's just like stuff's happening. The dialogue's all shit. All the actors are shit. Doesn't matter. Just fucking stuff's happening. So it does have its cool qualities. I think it's iconic as well. Everyone knows Blade, even though these films are shit. It must have made a ton of money, and everyone you know, well, obviously apart from Burnsley, right? But everyone you know has seen it, and I think if it wasn't for this, they wouldn't be thinking about Blade in the new MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's only because people want this character back, because he's not a big character in the comic books. There's no way Blade would be coming into the MCU if these films didn't already exist. So it's made some impact. Do you want Kyle's score first?
I knew.
Back before we go to the scores, because timing wise, I think this will be done about after the World Cup final. So I want us to make our predictions now, and it'll be funny to see who got what. So who's going to win the World Cup, Bunzy?
Brazil, I think. Boring pick, but
Sean?
I think, having seen them all now, I still don't really fancy Brazil to win it. I think France will win it. I was surprised by how good they've looked. And Mbappe's been ridiculous.
Aye.
Which is probably kind of making them look a bit better than what they've actually been. But it can be a France-Brazil final. They're opposite sides, eh?
yeah.
Aye. I think it will be France.
I think it will be France to get to the final.
Aye.
Sean. I'm agreeing with you for that.
And I just fancy them to win it. I think that he's been too good this tournament. I just think that. I just think they'll win it. I hope Argentina win it and Messi gets the top goal scorer. He's two behind Mbappe now, but I think France will win it.
Fuck Messi.
No, it's just because I've got a bet on it. I don't really care about him as a person.
My bad. Hunter?
I am going to stick with my pre-tournament prediction for the GOAT to be lifting the golden trophy on his 1,000th senior club of 1,000th senior appearance in football. I think it's written in the stars.
He's got 1,000th appearance in football was against Australia.
Yeah.
So it happened, Hunter.
So what the fuck have I been hearing? Fucking never had that's going to be 1,000 game.
So
I had that too at the start, and then obviously
missed 2 PSG games, and then played all through the World Cup for it to land in his 1,000th game. But he played those games for PSG, which meant that his 1,000th game was against Australia. But did you see who got his shot for Australia? For the Australia game?
Devlin, it wasn't even
Cammy Devlin for Hearts, who's no kicked a ball for Australia, and the whole tournament got Messi's 1,000th game shot.
That's amazing.
Like that, the cheeky of the boy. If I was an Australia player, I'd be sitting in that dressing room going, like, he's not even fucking kicked a ball a tournament.
I was thinking, see, when you have like a wee shitey team playing a big team, you shouldn't really just be handing. It should probably just go into like a big bag and then they all.
I think they kind of talked. I listened to Open Goal today, and they kind of made a suggestion which I think might be. I wonder if in the Australian dressing room, if they've done like a names at a hat, who gets to go and ask Messi for his shot, and Cammy Devlin's name was drawn at the hat.
Apparently not. So there was quotes for Cammy Devlin that I heard them say on Clyde One. So basically, apparently, this is from an Australian journalist. Cammy Devlin said that like nobody had asked Messi for his shot, so he just went up and asked him for it after the game, and he got it.
They cheek no chance. Eh?
So it's maybe the case that like people are just like a bit not intimidated, but like because like I've seen so many pictures of the Australia players just like in the same corridor post match getting a photo with him. So there's obviously.
I know. I've seen that. They're all queued up to get him. We thought they would have started.
So
any chance of your top pal?
Apparently, according to Clyde, Cammy Devlin is quoted to say that he just seen that nobody had asked Messi for his shot, so he just chanced it and he got it.
I mean, fair enough. You'd think, I would have thought his 1,000th game shot would have been saved for a fucking museum or something.
I don't think he really would have give a fuck as to
He
where
doesn't
it
seem
went.
as if he's got that much. He obviously has got a bit of an ego, but it doesn't come across as bad as some.
No.
I
think
if they go to win the tournament, it might have some. Obviously, they would have thought Maradona's hand of God shot would have been worth anything at the time. But look at how much it sold for recently.
That'll be money. What that shot like massive money.
For
even now,
10, 15 year.
We put that on eBay now. It would go for fucking loads.
I know.
Or the other option would be to see Portugal win it, but Cristiano Ronaldo not to get another second of action between now and the end of the tournament.
Nah, just.
Do you know what, right? And it's been really fucking annoying me. See the whole hang, like no matter what he does, you can have your own opinion of him as a person. Nobody knows him as a person, right? You can have your opinion of how he's acted recently in terms of that interview and stuff and the storming off refusing to come on and all that. Obviously, there's no defending that. But see the way that like see the other night, right? Every time, like when that Ramos scored, the camera panned straight to Ronaldo, right? And he's sitting there watching, and then he was up celebrating the second game and for the second goal. And then after the game, they said he stormed in the tunnel and all that. But then there was a video showing him clapping the fans and just leaving. Like, that guy literally can't do anything without this big bullshit fanfare. Like,
That's not a reputation now, though, Sean. That's the reason
when
it's
he's
like
not
that.
actually done something. Like, if he's done it, then fair enough. Like he did it.
Aye, this
for
goes back
the
to him
Spurs
when he
game.
walked off the park from Man
And with
United
the
interview. That's
But
why.
he's literally walked up. It's fucking boring because all you're hearing about is Ronaldo just walked off the park as his teammates celebrated the victory over Switzerland. He went up, applauded the fans, stood with his teammates and fucking walked off. Who cares? It's fucking show me a replay of that boy scoring the hat. I don't fucking care. It's fucking. And actually, I'm to the point where I'm like, fucking. I actually feel sorry for him sometimes.
But then
It's
it's
just
not even that. It's not even just like recently. Like was it Rangnick? I think even Ole might have doped him at some point last season. And that's Sky even last season. That's what they did. Pan straight to Ronaldo on the bench because he's not to start lineup.
That's just something
so
we want to see,
annoying.
though. And it obviously rails folk up like Sean, so that's why they do it.
This is funny.
Did you see the aerial shot of the photographers
Yes.
at the dugout, like when the national anthem was on? There's like one camera guy like filming them going up the line, and there's a horde of photographers and press folk at the Portuguese dugout during the national anthem.
Embarrassing. Honestly, embarrassing.
As I said in the chat before, I'm surprised that Ronaldo managed to go to the World Cup considering they had Piers Morgan's face up his arse for the food tournament. So
Embarrassment.
You see if Piers Morgan was up his arse, he might have connected with that cross with Bruno in the Uruguay game and got that goal.
It must be difficult dragging somebody's face on me at the food tournament. Like, must slow you down a bit.
When this started, I was not expecting such a impassioned rant about the media coverage of Ronaldo during the World Cup. I really enjoyed that, Sean. I found it really funny.
It's been on my mind. It's just annoyed me a bit. So.
We're glad to be able to vent in a place of safeness.
Should we have a spin-off podcast of like morons moaning about football? Because
we've not got your pick for the World Cup yet, Daniel.
What?
We've not got your pick for the World Cup yet.
So, I definitely don't think Argentina have a chance. I'm starting. Portugal gave me a feeling that they could do it now.
Aye, that Portugal performance. I know Brazil ran riot for 45 minutes against South Korea, but that's because they went kamikaze man for man against that front four.
I just feel like, see now that they've got a mobile striker, Portugal, they've just got great players in every position and like tons of them. But my instinct still stands. But a wee chance in Portugal, I think, would be my outsider.
I just don't know how bad that was that Switzerland were, or how good Portugal were based on that. It's difficult to try and, because Portugal against they looked absolute garbage one of the times. I was over at Dubsy's watching that from we're off once, and they looked absolutely horrendous. Was it?
It was that first week. It was the first. If Ronaldo started that first game, they were horrific that first game.
County, they played that game. Was it you? No, it wasn't Uruguay, was it? Or was it?
Oh, was it the Ghana where they came back and won it late on?
Aye, it was them actually, because they were horrendous for like the first hour or whatever.
Even in that game, they nearly chucked away the goalkeeper nearly with the ran on and scored.
Then, like Sean says, the camera after the game was just all looking at videos like Ronaldo's reaction to the goalie dropping the ball. But he's his hands in that.
Imagine people listening to this for Blade, and we've spent 10 minutes. I think they've hit the fucking scoreboard.
I've got another question. So I don't know how many games you have watched, right? But who's been the team that you've enjoyed watching the most? That like didn't say Brazil, because I don't even think they've been that enjoyable. But like I've loved watching Japan.
I'm shocked.
Canada as well, been absolutely brilliant.
No, I'm gonna go like a wee negative Nelly, but because of how they've set up and how they've frustrated teams. But Morocco are the team that has impressed me the most.
Well, as you know, I've barely watched any. So the team I've actually enjoyed watching the most so far has been Saudi Arabia. in the groups. I thought they were just fucking good in all their games. Beating Argentina was fucking class. And all their players playing in that Saudi league. I don't know, they were just quite good to watch. That big boy Cannon in the middle of the park looked like he could play fucking anywhere. They looked class. They were the biggest surprise for me.
They're basically just a club team. Like, it's just Al Ali at the World Cup. They've got like 9 of their players all play for, like, as in like 9 of their starting 11 all play for the same club.
I've enjoyed watching Qatar just because I've got pumped every game. That's been quite a good laugh.
I only watched one of their games. I couldn't watch any of them.
They were absolutely embarrassing. But no, seriously, I'd probably say that I've enjoyed probably Japan the most because it's just been that. They were so good. It's just constant pressure. Like all the games have sort of been end to end, and
that's like the probably would have been through if they'd started the Kyogo instead of Days Almeida there.
I mean, obviously you had talk about why I never took Kyogo, but you can't really say that because obviously they've done so well. So it's a fucking moot point anyway.
I know.
Like they just, I thought they were great to watch in Canada as well. I know they obviously never went through, but I was so surprised as to how much they had a go in that game against Belgium. Although they beat 1-0, I thought they were absolutely brilliant.
I was going to ask, when you mentioned that, I was going to say, well, your disappointment in the tournament is going to be Belgium, like seeing that demise. Like I say, like Eden Hazard to announce his international retirement, even though I thought he'd done it before the tournament, no after it.
You need to realise that in the international tournament, they play Elche every week, so that'll be an issue.
To be fair to him, that he's admitted himself in interviews that he can't ever be the player that he was. Like he's done now. He says himself. So fair play to him. It's sad.
Wales were absolutely garbage too. Like they were just horrendous.
Worst team of the tournament, Wales. And that's what's annoying about us not being there, because that was our wee path, and we fucked it against Ukraine, and that could have been our wee group.
Mm-hmm.
We'd have gone into the game just like Wales, but at least we'd have done it.
Aye. The biggest disappointment would definitely be Belgium for me too. They're just done. And I never rated Martinez either. I always thought he was a bit of a fraud.
Aye.
There was always such a strange setup they had. I know that it was him, Henry, who then left and came back. They also had Sean Maloney there, which I always found just a really random, like Martinez, who basically moved from Motherwell to take the Belgium job. Sean Maloney and Thierry Henry, it's just really, really bizarre. I always found that so strange.
Didn't go well.
As well. He's left as well, Way back to Motherwell.
Back to Motherwell. Before we completely forget about the film we've watched, will we give it scores?
Aye.
Probably better,
We should definitely do a spin-off football chat version of this, because we would be able to talk easier for longer.
We're going to get Mikhail's first.
A 3.75.
Wow.
That's actually lower than I thought. So
right, before anyone gives their scores here, do we all think that Kyle's score is higher than our collective 4 scores?
No.
All added together?
I think it's probably roughly what we would give it.
Good shout. Let's go with me first. I'm giving it a 1.25. Bonzi.
I'm also going to give it a 1.25 because it's only slightly better than Butterfly Effect.
Sean.
I'm going to give it a 1.
And Hunter.
I'm going to go for a hat trick of 1.25 because it is definitely better than Butterfly Effect.
Definitely. Just that song in the nightclub at the start is better than the whole of Butterfly Effect.
That's a 1.7 overall.
A 1.7? That's fair. Kyle's going to think we're fucking stitched them up here, but...
I know.
Well, you should have watched it.
In his mind, he totally should have watched it. Because in his mind, he's going to think at least I've agreed with him. And that's going to subtract him.
Bonzi, you see when you put the scores in the chat, go and like swap the scores around so he thinks that the Butterfly Effect scored higher than Blade just to see its reaction.
Oh, that's like a good idea. I'll do that.
That's funny. Let's do that.
I'll need to fudge some, so obviously that Kyle, because Kyle scored that at 0.5, but I'll figure something out to get him really worked up about it.
Yeah, just swap his two scores. Do you know what I mean? So like put the 3.75 into butterfly effect.
Oh right, okay. So you know straight away I'll realise we're taking the piss.
Aye, so just put that score to somebody else's name and then do it the other way around, so that.
Aye, we'll wind them up somehow. But Kyle will be back next time, and we're going to do the Big Shot and the Big Lebowski the next two.
I'm actually looking forward to that one.
Has anybody watched them yet?
I've watched both, not for this, but I have watched both in the past.
Well, I meant in terms of for this. I was wondering where you were going with that, Hunter. I've not watched either yet.
Well, there's no point in spinning a wheel because we know that the two after that are Black Swan and what's the other one we've got left to watch?
I think it's Borg v Mackin. I think that was mine.
Oh, my fuck's sake, that's going to be shite. See you. I want you, but see, we're talking who's getting banned for picking films. I want you banned for picking sports films. Oh.
You gave me a list. That was it was because the rest of your options you gave me were guff, so I had to go and find one myself. So I just went to what I know.
I'm starting to worry now, right? See, as we come towards getting through these letter B's, right? We've done 6 now. I'm concerned that we're going to not like any of the films because we've not really liked any so far. Like, none of them have had really great scores. It's going to look like none of them is going to win. And we had the choice of basically any movies beginning with B, and this is a 10, but it was a shite that we picked. Oh man. But I'm done for the night. Are you done for the night?
I'm done for the night. It's a school night. I need to go to my bed.
This is a wee weed vape, so I'm fucking high as fuck now. An hour and a half, like.
Other branded vapes are available.
Well, guys, that was a good fun tonight.
It was, yeah.
Right.
Catch you later.
Better leave. See you later.
No got a clue how to end this. Cow's not here. Bye.
Sorry I don't speak moron as well as you, but let me try.
What the hell is supposed to do, you moron?
It's a moron. That's not against the law.
Gun, you fucking moron.
Dressed up like Batman.
Because he is Batman, you moron.
What are you, a fucking moron?
You moron. Drop dead. Moron.
Whoa!
Up here, you morons.
Stepping morons like yourself.
Lay down, you moron! Hey, moron!